Hi, welcome to Spectre Speak with Rhonda Russo. And as promised yesterday in my video, I have my guest on here, and her name is Dee Marshall, and she goes by Dee. She is a belief coding, cognitive rewiring person. And Dee, can you tell me more about it?
Hi, I am Dee, and I am a belief coding facilitator. And belief coding started about 4.5 years, about 4 years ago in the UK, and it was founded by Jessica Cunningham, and she's under 40 right now, and it is a it belief coding is a rewiring of your brain. And this was proven in research studies by a neuroscientist just recently. And they have just published in the British Journal their findings. So up until then, it was an energetic modality, and it still is. Uh, but it didn't have the groundwork beneath it of neuroscience. So now it does. And I can really see that belief coding will go mainstream in no time now, especially with the science. And
Mhm.
so what does it do? Well, belief coding works with your subconscious,
Mhm.
and your subconscious stores all of your memories. And if you've ever read anything by Peter Levine or Gabor Mate, The Body Keeps a Score, The Wisdom of Trauma, what we know now is that trauma, whether it's a big T, like a war, caught in a war,
Mhm.
or a small T, like someone said something to you when you were 5 years old. Maybe they called you fat or stupid,
Mhm.
and it stays with you.
It
Some
really does.
people, it does. Some
Mhm.
people, it doesn't bother. You can have two people having the same experience. One just takes it on, and the other one just leaves it alone. But we all have it.
100%.
We all have it.
100%. Now, that you take my husband, he will hold on to it. It'll affect him for a lifetime. If you call me a name or something like that, I'll say F you and go on with my life. It's amazing how two different people react.
It is. It is. And so one little trauma builds on another. And for me, I had years of therapy, talk therapy, and I had a pretty tough childhood. I had high adverse childhood experiences. My score was a 10 out of 10. And sexual abuse, um, just, you know, uh, witnessing domestic violence
Hmm.
and being a victim of violence.
Hmm.
So but the interesting thing is in therapy, nobody asked me that. And, I told my story week after week. And the first 6 months, I would go and sit in my car and just cry
Hmm.
because I was just triggered. And every time I had to go back to therapy, it was, oh, so can we just revisit this? And so what happened then? And the beauty of belief coding, and like I said, I found it 3 years ago, um, is that you don't have to tell your story. You come up, you have a discomfort. We work
Hmm.
at one issue at a time. And so that could be, um, for me, one of mine was deep water, fear of deep water. And in one session, in a free workshop with belief coding, I went to a childhood, my childhood, my reflection, and that's you at a different age where that trauma struck you and it
So
stayed
like
with you.
past, almost like past life and current past life.
Exactly, exactly. And so my 8-year-old self showed up, which I wasn't surprised. She showed up one time when I was getting a massage when I was in my 40s, and she was sitting in a corner crying. Um, so my fear was deep water. The 8-year-old came and she basically told me her story. I had her feel safe, which is always, we always allow the subconscious to feel safe because it's always trying to keep us safe. And so once it knows that it's safe and it can trust the facilitator, um, it just opens up. And so anyway, it worked. I was like surprised. I cried and cried and cried. And here I am doing this myself, basically. I was led, and it was on Facebook, and I was led, facilitated by Jessica and a group. I felt so confident that this was going to work that I made the next day, I made an appointment for 6 sessions for swim
Mhm.
lessons. And I am, at the time, I was 70, maybe 75. And what was interesting is I always say, um, trying on a bathing suit, going into the dressing room and trying on a bathing suit is kind of like going for a mammogram. You know what I mean? It's like so stressful, so scary. It's the scariest thing. Um, Not to belittle mammograms, but anyway, I made these lessons. So the first session, I was in the dressing room and I was putting on my bathing suit, and I just left the dressing room and I walked to the platform of the pool. And I got in the pool and I started my lessons. What I realized right away was that I didn't have a fear of deep water. Um, and later, another incident came to me where when I was younger, and I felt that I was drowning. And it was like knee deep water, but I was um, caught in a group of people and I just couldn't come to the surface.
Mhm.
But all right, so getting back, so then wasn't until a couple of days later I realized I didn't even look in the mirror. I wasn't even self conscious. I didn't even, before I went to the session, I didn't look for a new bathing suit. It was just, I grabbed what I had and I put it on. So what that told me right away was that not only was I getting to the origin of my discomfort about deep water, my fear, but
Mhm.
I also gained a lot of self-confidence. And not only in my appearance, but my ability to move forward in my life. And that just opened up so many doors for me. Um, I I can't even begin to tell you. The other thing that was undiagnosed, which is really bizarre, was I used to have this profuse sweating. And I have pictures of when I was younger where I would have these stains on my clothes. Didn't matter if it was cold, um, no matter how many clothes I was wearing. And what I realized later, and this was also within 3 years, is that this was a symptom of chronic anxiety.
Mhm.
All of these years of therapy, no therapist ever told me that. That was never diagnosed. And what happened is that I don't have that anymore. And this was just that workshop. Um,
Mhm.
it just went away. I wasn't working on it, but it was connected
Yes.
to my fear. Um, I self facilitate all the time. I have sessions with other belief coding facilitators, mainly in the UK. In the United States right now, because of our laws and whatever they are now, I um, I couldn't.
They're subject to change at any given moment.
Right. So my background is I was a dental hygienist for 40 years, And I always did therapy because you have patients, they're afraid, and so you try to calm them down. I'm a hypnotist. I became a hypnotist because of, so that I could reduce dental anxiety and
Mm-hmm.
phobias. So I knew all of these things, but it wasn't until belief coding came that I realized, wow, I could work on myself. I wasn't triggered, and it was real. And the reason I know that it was real and it just wasn't like woo woo, something passing, was because everything that I worked on um, was gone,
Yeah.
just gone.
Well, and you mentioned anxiety and panic disorders. I mean, you turn on your television, there's medications advertised all the time for
Right.
those conditions, but no one ever wants to get to the root of the problem. My husband has anxiety issues, and he went to a counselor for a while because they got pretty bad for a while. And what did they do? Put him on medication. And I kept asking him, but did he get to the root of the problem? No, no.
No, but
They just
yeah,
talk, they tell you how to deal with it,
that's
but they
right.
don't get to the root of the problem. And it could be a past life, current past life issue, or a past life issue
Right.
that's trying to surface at different times of your life, and you keep on ignoring it or medicating it. It's just one thing leads to another, to another, to another. Yeah, so I'm
And you
so
lose.
glad that, like belief coding and other things that we can do now that can help.
Oh yeah, I know. And that is I always wanted to know my purpose. So I'm a yoga teacher. I'm into energy work, hypnosis. I am also a soul reader. An aside, when I was I think 8, maybe 9 years old, I stuck a hairpin in an electric socket,
Oh,
and hello, and my grandmother's bed was, I was in her bedroom and she had a brass bed. And fortunately, when I was thrown back, I didn't hit the bed. I flew right over it on a pile of clothes, actually.
mm,
And what I realized now, the thing was, is that no one asked me what was going on with me
mm-hmm,
as a child, because obviously I was trying to kill myself. I knew better.
mm-hmm,
And I was just shamed because you know better. And that lived with me for a long time until I worked on it with belief coding. It just happened to come up in a memory. Um, the thing about belief coding is that it's fast, it's effective, it's long lasting, but we only work with one issue at a time.
mm-hmm,
Sometimes that one issue, like the phobia, it could be like very broad, because if you've lived it for a long time, there are a lot of things that connect to it. However, once you start to get to the source of that, the first, the origin when it first started, and like you said, it can be a past life,
mm-hmm,
it can be in the womb, you could be an animal. I can't tell you how many times I've been an
mm-hmm,
animal.
mm-hmm.
And
Hey, a
well,
soul is a soul.
you know, and I can resonate with it. I mean, it's like, yeah, that was me. Yeah, I was that old dog. And I was growling because I was angry, but it
Mm-hmm,
was a cover up. I wasn't angry. I was scared.
mm-hmm,
I didn't know. Um, everyone was passing me by, and because of my age, and everyone wants someone younger, and you have to
mm-hmm,
look like this and whatever. And yeah, that old dog was me. Another thing that's interesting is when I've done past lives, a lot of my past lives have been boys between
mm-hmm.
the ages of 12 and 15.
Wow.
And, and what's interesting about that is that just recently I realized in a session that I carried a lot of male energy. And that was protection. That was a protect. Get out of my face. You know what I mean? Um, and also I would push you away before you push me away. So all of us have these insecurities,
Sure.
you know. And I think because of my age, I can talk about these things freely
Hmm.
because I don't really care. You
Well,
know what I mean? This is my life.
the older we get, we become educators too.
Yeah,
I mean, we have knowledge, but I want to back it up to when you stuck that pin in the socket and you said, you were trying to kill yourself, but
I
unintentionally,
didn't know that I was trying to. Yeah,
subconsciously. But also, you look at some of these extreme people that
yeah.
thrill seekers that I mean every day,
Risk
several times a
takers
day,
and
they extreme risk takers.
right,
You kind of wonder that they're trying to push the limits. They're subconsciously maybe trying to kill themselves.
right, right.
So there's
Yeah,
could be some things
I
there too.
agree. I mean, I don't know them, but I would think that there is something, there is some kind of trauma there. There is some kind of something that just keeps pushing them on to
Hmm.
test themselves.
Hmm.
And it's scary. And that's another thing. I see a lot of influences that are young that die. I mean,
Yeah.
young.
Hmm.
Uh, so there is definitely something going on um, with that. But as far as belief coding goes, it's it's the best thing that's ever happened to me. It saved my marriage. I've been married for 46 years. For 10 years, I wanted out. I wanted out. I thought that he was just, why did I even choose him? And so I set my business aside for belief coding to work on myself.
Hmm.
A lot of times when you get something like this, you want to just help other people and you
Hmm.
have just a little bit of self knowledge. I knew about that and I said, no, I have too many issues going on for me to be putting myself out there to help other people.
Yep.
And wow, lo and behold, our marriage is fine now. I mean, it's better than ever because we can talk about things. We never talked about our childhood. I thought his childhood was great. I mean, compared to mine, anybody's was. And the other thing is, I don't hold it against my parents. My mother, I love her. Um, you know, I, I did for the longest time, but now it's like we're people. We're human. We all have human experiences. Even if we don't want to talk about them, um, it's still valid. Our feelings are still valid. That's the other thing with belief coding. It's about your feelings. It's not up here, what you remember. It's about here. And you bring those feelings out. And there is a way to merge the right and left hemispheres of the brain to keep you
Hmm.
safe, to prevent you from sitting in your car after a talk therapy appointment and crying your eyes out. Because
Right.
you're working with the past then, but then you have to come back into the present. You have a family, you have a job. And this is the thing, the beauty of belief coding um, now with their neuroscience research is that we are attracting more therapists because now it's a proven thing. And my therapist, even she doesn't have the time to do it, and she's young, she's in her 40s, but she's just on board with it, you know.
Good. That's refreshing. It really is. It's refreshing, at least if they're just even open to it. I
Yeah,
can't tell you how many times professionals that I revealed my what I do to them, and they look at me like I have three heads on my shoulders.
right, right.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's very refreshing.
And what's really interesting about it is that she sees how much it's helped me.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is that now she gives me assignments. So I see her maybe once a month just to check in. And it's more of a conversation. Oh, this is what I did. This is what I accomplished. This is how I'm feeling. And da, 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 and this is what I'm doing and whatever. And so she gives me assignments to check in with my human compass, which is the pendulum, but we do it with the body.
Well, you know what's happening here? You're no longer her patient, but you are her teacher now. She's
Well,
learning from you.
this is what she says. She says, "You've taught me so much." Um, and this is the beauty of it. So when you find someone like that who's open and says, "I've never heard of it," um, and this is the way that I was trained, and we can't veer off of this path because of insurance purposes, et cetera, et
Mm-hmm.
cetera. Um, but my belief coding for me, even through the whole course, was cheaper than all of my co-pays for
Right.
talk therapy. You know what I mean? So now she said, she gives me these assignments that are right in line with my beliefs of belief coding. You know,
Good. Great.
it
Great.
is good.
She's jiving with you, and that's
She
good.
really is. But I told her the first session, and we meet online. Um, the first session, I told her, this is what I do. This is what's helped. Um, and if you're uncomfortable with this, I understand, but I can't work with you.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'll just keep looking for someone. And she was open. She says, I never heard of it. But as I'm talking to her, she's looking at it on the computer.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's awesome.
Well, and what people don't understand too, especially those people. I mean, one of my friends, she lost her son. It's been 15, 20 years ago now. More like 15. And of course, that's devastating to her. How do you get over that? So she went
Right.
to therapists and loaded her up on medications, made her a zombie, and she's been seeing them for years and years and years, and she still, hasn't helped her. But you see somebody that long, what people don't realize is that those therapists were in your past life somewhere too.
Oh, really?
Time. They're in your life now. They're in your current life.
Right, right, right.
So
Well, but this
daggone
is
good now.
what I asked myself this. Why did you continue to go for 25 years? You know? Well,
Right?
because the issue is that at some point you feel like you're unfixable.
Yeah.
I'm just broken. There's just no hope for me, but I'm just going to keep going and, praying for a miracle because this is what people tell me to do. And
Mhm.
I don't know what else to do. Well, I'm Dee. I'm a belief
Well,
coding facilitator, and I'm here to tell you I know what helps. Belief coding works for everything.
well,
Everything.
especially these people that have social anxiety to the point where they don't want to leave their house, but they have sessions.
I've,
And I know somebody that's had probably 15 or 20 years, and he's gotten worse. He has not gotten better. He has
yeah,
gotten worse to the point where now he's obese. He just eats cereal every day. He quit school. He doesn't know how to drive. He's never worked a day in his life, and he's killing himself. And the counselors are not working
no.
for
Do you
him.
know
He's
my,
getting worse.
yeah, my therapist said a lot of times therapists don't address these issues because they don't know how to help you. Um, and that was a realization for me. Well, it's really confirmation for me. But let me tell you, I worked with a 30-year-old woman who, since she was 19, hadn't left the house by herself. And unless she had her two little children with her or her dog, even her dog, she wouldn't walk her dog by herself. And her mother only lived 2 blocks away from her.
Mhm.
And she came to me because she had taken this, signed up for belief coding. She was
Mhm.
from England, and she paid all this money and she wanted to go. And we worked one session, and 2 days later, she it took her 3 hours for the bus to go to Sheffield, back and forth. The sessions were like the workshops were like 8 hours. She'd
Mhm.
come home, she'd pick up her kids. 3 days in a row, she did that. And
Wow.
in her testimonial, she said, and this is what I'm doing now. I'm going to weddings, I'm going to hen parties, even by myself, even if someone backs out. And what was interesting, so her reflection came in, her latest reflection was, and that's you at another time in your life.
Mhm.
And she showed up, and she said, this is what's going on. And so the reflection really gives you input
Mhm.
into the origin of the discomfort. And so when we were done with that, so we asked the reflection, well, we have an issue. How can you help? And so so the client said, well, Dee, I got to run after her because now she's getting into a Mini Cooper with my 2 kids in the back and she's driving. She's trying to drive off. And so she ran to it. Now, mind you, this is the person, the client, who is
Mhm.
giving this information.
Mhm.
And so she ran to the car and she said, well, can you help me? She says, I've been stuck, she said, since I was 19. I got to
Mhm.
go. And so one of the things that I suggested to the client, um, to be mindful of her surroundings, not because you're afraid, but because you always want to be mindful of your surroundings.
Mhm.
And I asked her, what are you wearing? Are you going to wear? So she said, I'm going to wear black. She says, I like black. So I says, well, I like it too. I said, but black is a hiding color. So do you have like a scarf, an accessory that is lighter to brighten it up? And so she said, I don't, but I have time to buy one. Her reflection was like started the car up and rolled the window down. And she said, she said, remember that blue wool scarf that you have upstairs? She says, wear that. And then she took off. I mean, and when I tell you, so afterwards, so it's a lot of dense energy at first, and then we code in the new beliefs, and then we do a happy dance just to break it up. And I mean, it's amazing. And then
So
I tell,
dancing lets your energy flow.
exactly, exactly. And you've been stuck and suppressed. Um, it's just beautiful. I am just so grateful for this opportunity, Rhonda, to be
Well,
able to come on.
Terry and I, we check for blocked chakras, and a lot of times it's either current past life or past life issues. Terry will surface them and she will, psychically connect to a lifetime, and I will as well, and I go over and heal them with Reiki. But once we surface them and the Reiki starts to heal them, but what you do could actually help them to break it down even more and heal
Yeah,
from that
yeah.
and get along with life and get their life back and
I'm telling you.
start that karmic process
Well, I'd love
instead of
to,
negative, positive.
I'd love it. And that's what you do. So you turn away. So we say, what is your discomforts? How does this feel? So we go with the feelings. So it makes me anxious. It makes, uh, I'm ashamed, whatever it is. And then you flip that around for a positive.
Mm-hmm.
and you code in those new beliefs
Mm-hmm.
and you check back, um, and you just be amazed. And like I said, even if you're working on this one thing, your relationships start to change. But most importantly, your relationship with yourself, because you begin to trust yourself. Most of us don't. That's why we're
Healing.
going outside of ourselves looking for answers. All the answers are here.
Mm-hmm.
I made a meditation. I always say I'm ahead of my time. And then I am like a late bloomer.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm ahead of my time because 25 years ago, I made a meditation tape. Where is it? I have it. But anyway, I made a meditation tape. Here it is. Now, Pleiadians, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know, somehow or another, I just connected with Pleiadian, the Pleiadian energy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why this is like this. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that sphere is like that. And in one take, I went into the studio and in one take, I didn't write anything down. I had already listened to the music, it's original music, but I channeled my grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever she told me to say, I said it in just one take. And then we made this. So I made this tape. I There was no internet, so there was no way to get the word out. There was no way to promote it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but in 12-step groups in meditation that I led, um, this is where they gave me the confidence to be able to do this. And now I have it digitized. So,
Cool.
yeah, so I'm working on my website and it will be available on website.
Oh, I
So,
can't wait. I want to listen to it.
well, you can listen to it. I will send it to you.
I
You can listen
love
to it.
meditation and what people don't understand like things with like what you do, things that like what Terry and I do, meditation, yoga, Reiki, Qigong, Tai Chi, all that stuff is so healing. And if you work with if we all work together, as a whole, a lot of people could change, their lives could change,
Oh my
and so
goodness.
much karma can be healed. And with the way things are going now, and I'm not going to get political, but
Hmm.
there's a lot of negativity going around on both sides of the spectrum.
Right,
So, and in the middle. So, if people started at home, okay, and he started healing themselves,
right.
they're gonna feel better. They're in and the whole energy of the United States, and that'll expand out to the world
Of
would
course.
feel that. Now, of course, we have to have negativity and we have to have good stuff. You have to balance it out. But right now, the
Yeah,
scales are
it's high.
quite
It's
tipped.
high on the negative scale.
So,
It's
yeah.
right, exactly. And yeah, so the more you feed yourself with this positive stuff, not just affirmations, they're good, but working internally with yourself and how you feel about yourself, because that's where it starts. It's all projection.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't feel good about yourself, if you hate yourself, you're going to hate a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
If you feel if
exactly.
you feel shame about yourself, you're going to project that onto other people and shame them. If you feel guilty, you're going to project that onto other people. And what belief coding does, it doesn't change the past, but it changes your perception of the past,
How you want
which
to
is
heal with it.
a big deal, a big deal. You look at your life totally differently. Oh, I get it now. Oh, okay, that makes sense. All right, well, I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Well,
So I
it
would,
sounds like I'm sorry. It sounds
no,
like
go
what
on.
you're doing is working with karma.
Oh, probably. I totally agree. I totally agree. And this is probably my karma. I had to go through all of this as hard as it was. And I used to say, God, why? Why me? And I have siblings, they don't have the same issues. They don't have the same issues that I do. But I realize there's a purpose for it. And I'm so glad that I am comfortable enough with myself to talk about it openly. You know,
Well, that's
I would,
all part of healing and
it
being a
is,
healer
it
because
is.
you're a healer, you can share.
Yeah,
Other
yeah.
people, some people won't want to start the healing process if they can't have proof that it has helped other people. And
Well,
and by doing that is other people sharing their paths and their stories.
exactly, exactly. And how it's helped other people. And like I said, some people will, they know that it's changed them right away, but they don't want to talk about it
So
because
it's right away that they basically feel a change coming on.
normally, yes,
Wow.
normally, yes, within 24 hours. And sometimes you feel, you don't feel excited. You don't feel like maybe it's working or whatever, because we do have that self-doubt, but it's subtle. And what you look for is, geez, I'm doing things differently. I would have never said that. I'm not going to hurt his feelings. Before, I would just blurt out stuff. And now it's like, now, why would I do that? You know, and I realize you can see it's like, it's like the different person over here.
Mhm.
Um, no, it's no, that's fine. And I apologize. And, my husband will tell me, you hurt, um, he wouldn't say you hurt my feelings, but something
Mhm.
to that effect. And before that would be like, um, starting a real tough argument, and you start bringing up the past and blah, 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 blah. But now I can say, I did that. I'm sorry. I wasn't aware, but I'm aware now. I'm not going to
Mhm.
do that again. And please, thank you for telling me. That's just totally different from me.
Totally, totally rewired. I mean, because a lot of people will, if they have self-conscious issues or if they've been abused or whatever, and somebody, says something like that, they'll come out at you, go to hell or
That was
feel
me.
like, well, that's
That
that
was
is,
me.
I
Yeah.
have to admit that that
Yeah.
is me now too.
That was me. And the thing is that I never, it was like when that, it's like an eruption that just has to come out. That's how I felt. And it didn't matter who it was. And usually it came out, always at the wrong time and with the wrong person who never deserved it. And especially someone that I loved.
Mhm.
And
Well, they say that you hurt the ones you love the most.
you have those regrets. But at the time, I didn't realize, I felt remorseful. Why did I say that? But by the same time, in my body, it was kind of like, you know, but I realize all that now, and I realize how important the body is. Um, we always think it's the mind,
Mhm.
but it's the heart. And the heart's always saying, the spiritual heart center is always saying to the body who's over there, come on over here. To the mind, come on over here. We're the same person. Let's be present in the same moment.
Mhm.
And that's where the healing comes. That's where you can direct yourself. But
Mhm.
when you're split, anything goes, you know. But these reflections that we've called upon in belief coding, different ages of ourselves, they make us whole. They all help,
Yeah.
because they're working. Now we're working for a common goal. We're not shut out, or you stay in that corner because I can't deal with that. And that's what happens. And you'll find, I don't know about you, but I know even it's in therapy, I wasn't totally honest. I didn't trust her. Um, and I've had a couple, but when they keep asking you the same questions over and over and over again,
Mhm.
It's not helpful.
Wouldn't it be great, excuse me, if they offered belief coders and people, that do, well, but basically what you would do though in schools as counselors and
That's what they're doing now.
to help veterans and
Yes.
police
In the
officers and so on
yes.
and so forth.
My husband was a social worker.
Oh,
And I didn't realize what a social worker did at the time. I just thought, they just do social work, whatever that is. I didn't realize that how traumatic it is. You have 6 clients um, in a day, and you hear, you know, why they abused this one, or they shot this one, or this happened to them, or whatever. And no one ever debriefed him.
yeah.
And I said to him, I wow, I could see it. He just kind of like, well, that's how it was. But I can see how it affected him. He would get into these rageful moments where it was like out of the blue.
Mhm.
And, because of my unhealed self, I mean, we would always just, like battering heads. And but that's what it was. And it wasn't until like maybe about a month ago we were watching a movie and I thought, whoa, that makes sense. Um, but these are all the things when you're aware
Mhm.
and when you're open
Mhm.
and you have trust. I really believe in God, of my understanding. I
Mhm.
believe that there is a spiritual realm that protects all of us. I believe that there is light in the darkest places, and we are the light.
Mhm.
We just forgot how powerful we are. And that's where the fear comes in from other people because
Yes.
they know if we wake up, if we're allowed to say, I'm not going to be afraid anymore. I am going to live my life with joy. I'm going to be happy. I'm going to do the things that make me happy because you're not going to keep me down. You are not going to keep me down. And you let your light come up. It not only shines for you within you, but it generates outside.
Fear is a powerful weapon, and it's
Right.
been used for many, many years. And unfortunately, and I don't want to get again in politics, but religion and politics. So,
Yep.
yeah, I mean, that's how they can control it.
That's right.
And
That's
and
right.
and the narcissist,
Yep.
you know,
Yep.
and things like
You
that.
know, at one point, there were, I was working in a dental office, and this was in the 90s. And at the time, there was a corporation that was buying out this group practice. And I saw the suits come in, and I started to get very afraid because I knew that they would change everything.
Mhm.
And it would be more a production line where I wouldn't have a chance to really talk to the patients like I wanted to. And and I remember going home and meditating, and my guide came up, and he doesn't have a name to this day. I am sorry, but um, one of the things it said is, "Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. If you're afraid, just pray, but just try to get rid of it because they feed on fear."
Exactly. And in the paranormal world. If
Exactly.
there's a ghost lingering at your house or any kind of evil entity or negative entity, they will feed off of your fear, and
Right.
the fear works on lowering your aura down, messing up your chakras, and eventually will mess with you mentally and physically. Fear is a
One of the
big thing.
one of the things that I didn't touch on was about physical. And one of the things that Gabor Mate talks about, and Peter Levine as well, is that if these issues aren't addressed and they keep accumulating, it will break you down
Oh,
physically.
absolutely.
And there is a book, let me just get this book called,
And not only that, I mean, it'll follow you through past or current or your current life, your future lives, and also it will leave you wide open for an entity attack.
right.
So,
Yeah.
it's yeah.
I just want to show you, this is a 760-page book,
Oh my Lord.
and it's called Metaphysical Anatomy by Yvette Rose.
Oh, I'm
And
gonna have to get that one.
I've taken classes with Yvette Rose. Okay, she is phenomenal. She's from Bali, the friend I was telling you about.
Uh-huh.
But remember this one? You Can Heal Your Life by Louise.
Yes, I remember that.
Okay, there is a chapter in here where she goes over all of the physical issues that you have that are represented by your thoughts and things that have happened to you. And she also gives you affirmations.
Mhm.
But so it's always there. One person just keeps saying, oh, okay, they just work on this, they just pull this together, and God bless them for doing that. They don't
Mhm.
give up. So that's the energy of
Right.
healing, you know.
Yes.
We heal ourselves so that we can heal others, so
Yeah.
that we can be the source that we didn't have.
And our we don't a lot of us I mean, there's some of us that don't believe in the woo-woo,
It's
but
okay.
it's there. It's there. We're electrical beings. And energy does not die, it transfers. But we have guides that have actually lived on a human life before, and we connect with them. Heck, my mom passed away in 2021, and now she helps me out over
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So, they are a thing. And I tell people over and over again that come to me for a reading, I'm like, I'm only as good as my guide's connection
Yeah.
with them.
Right. Right.
So, I mean, there's so much more. There's so much more to our physical and spiritual lives. So much more. And
Right.
we're learning now, and our energy is getting higher. And what I understand in the science world, that the earth actually has sped up and time is
Yeah.
going by quicker. So
Right.
even it's, doing its thing. So there's so much more to learn. But now, um, how long would it take to have a session?
Well, generally, I would give it 90 minutes,
Okay.
2 hours, 2 hours. So we work with one issue at a time.
Hmm.
And many of my clients have come back um, for another session.
Hmm.
Something else has come up for them. Um, but yeah, generally about 90 minutes. So we have reduced the time. When I first started belief coding facilitations, it took about 3 hours.
Oh, okay.
And Jessica continues to refine the process. And so again, now it's about 90 minutes. And I charge $222 for a session. My session includes a 20-minute discovery chat to see if we're compatible. If I know what my experience is, I know what my limitations are, and I will be very upfront with you if I feel that no, but I can refer you to someone who's more knowledgeable than I am.
Hmm.
So and then so we have that session. I send you information prior to that to let you know exactly what's going on. You have
Hmm.
a waiver to understand that I am not a therapist. Okay. And this is how it goes, and what to expect during the session and after the session. Sometimes after the session, you feel flat, you feel angry. These are just suppressed emotions that are coming up. You
Mhm.
don't have to do anything. You might feel really tired. But the good news is that all of those are signs that your subconscious is working in your favor. Medication, I work with people who take medication for anxiety, depression, or whatever. It works. A
Mhm.
lot of times people reduce it or stop taking it altogether, but that's not up to me. I work with people who have therapists. What's interesting is that they don't tell their therapists. They think it's still woo woo. And I encourage them, please tell them, because your therapist, it's hard work being a therapist. And especially when you know you're not really helping people,
Mhm.
you know that.
Mhm.
But week after week, you keep doing your best, but you're only as good as your training. So, but the more therapists who know this, the more tools they have in that toolbox. Oh, this
Right.
might not work for you, but bam, let's get to the root of that. Um, I don't feel intimidated by it. I'm not a therapist. I, I mean, I would love that. There's
Mhm.
nothing more that I would like. In the UK, excuse me, belief coding, cognitive rewiring now has a program for therapists where they teach them the process.
Well,
And like I,
we all know that the USA is far behind on things like that, even the medical.
yeah, so they're working, so they are child psychologists who are teachers that work in schools that work with children with belief coding. And if you can get a child by that before the age of 7, oh my God, and teach them this is what you do. Even if you teach tapping, well,
Yeah.
especially if you teach tapping, all of that is neurological.
Mhm.
They have tools.
Yeah.
Kids don't have, they rely on their parents and their caregivers. I mean, why not give them these tools?
So many kids that are being abused at home, and then this might would even stop bullying. And then therefore would stop children committing suicide. Children do commit suicide.
I know,
Overeating. Children overeat now. There's obesity with children and diabetes now,
yeah,
type 2. So
right,
it would be so healing. And with over in Europe, like you said, they're you know, the therapists are being trained in this, then insurance would cover that.
right, right, exactly, exactly. So, I mean, yes, the United States is way behind. And like I said, I mean, uh, basically, I had to research and learn all of the laws, the legalities of doing this type of work.
Mhm.
I can't call myself a therapist. I don't want to. Um, I am a healer. I know that. And I call it coaching.
Well, you could become a life coach and a
Well, I am.
clergy. Are you a
I am.
clergy?
I am a mindset coach.
Are
And
you a clergy?
no,
You
no,
should
I'm not.
you could become a clergy too,
See,
and that
everybody always gives me these different professions.
it's sad but true. We have to dot every I and cross
You
every T
do.
because there's always somebody out there that's going to try to disprove you and try to ruin you. There's
Yeah,
always that person, and then they need the belief coding. But
exactly. And you
um
know, the thing is that you use your intuition on who you work with,
mhm.
and that's the purpose of the discovery chat. I'm
Well,
not trying to convince anyone.
yeah,
Um,
like I
you know,
always say, evil rears its ugly face,
it
but
does.
true evil wears a disguise. So sometimes you can't, sometimes they cloak themselves. I've had that numerous times. I have a question though. Why do you charge $222?
It just came to me. Well, actually, I used to charge 325. And then I realized that if I wanted to help more people, I want to reduce my charge. At the time when I said 325, it's worth 325.
Mhm.
But the reason you don't really get a lot of clients, 325 sounds like a lot of money, but if you compare it to 25 years of therapy and not getting anywhere, compared to 2 hours of belief coding, and you're okay, I'm good. Uh, so, but two, I know that that's a spiritual number, and it just sounded right for me. I human compassed it. I just, is this the right amount? And it feels good for me. So that it covers that 20-minute discovery chat. It covers 90 minutes of belief coding session. It covers the 24-hour follow through. It covers a week. And if you want, a month. I love to check in with people after a month.
And if you divided all that up by an hourly wage, you were
It's a
not
lot
making
of money.
much.
It's a lot of money. It's pennies. It's
Right.
pennies.
But 222 has something to do with
Spiritual.
me too. That is a sign from my grandmother. She died in the room 222 at the hospital. A few years later, I had a pretty bad accident and I had to go to the hospital a few years after she died. I was put in room 222.
Wow.
So 222, and then you said that, I was like, oh, you were meant to be.
Well, you know, it's interesting when you said that. My um, house, our we lived in an apartment house in the South End in Boston, and our address was 222. It was 222 West Springfield Street. I mean,
Wow.
that just came to me when you said that. Yeah. And so you can get in touch with me. My name is Dee. You can email me, deesyoga@comcast.net. You can find me on Facebook. I'm not really that active, but I try to. You can connect with me on Facebook. Derniere Marshall, Mindset Coaching.
Well, I loved having you on the show. Absolutely loved it. I want to have you back. And I'm going to throw this in there too. I just looked up at my time on my computer screen, and when I asked you about the 222, it was 222.
And what is the spiritual significance of that number?
It's an angel number, but also if it could be a numerology number, number six. I'm not
Yeah.
big into numerology.
Well, you know who would? Yeah, Baji. With
Yeah, Margie or Terry, both of those.
right, right.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean it's something there. I mean, you just can't make this stuff up.
You know, this is just, I believe in synchronicities.
I do
And
too.
when it's your time, it's your time. And I mean, I just feel like it's my time to tell people that's
Mhm.
my purpose, to let people know, don't give up. My all-time favorite saying is it's never too late. I'm
Never.
78. It's never too late. It's never too late to be the person that you dream of being.
Right. As
Really?
long as you have breath in you, you
Yeah,
can. And even even when your physical body ceases to exist, you're still gonna live.
that's
It's
right.
different.
That's
But
right.
people, that's the one thing that gets to me, other psychics and mediums, they go, I talk to the dead, I talk to the dead. They're not dead.
I
They're
know.
not dead. We don't die. The
Right.
physical body is dead, but the spirit, it never dies. So
Right.
anyway,
Right.
that's a little pet peeve of mine. But
No, it's
that's what
true. Yeah.
what I believe. But I loved having you on the show, and I would love to have a decoding session. Maybe you could do a demonstration with me sometime or something. I don't know.
Well, I'll have to check
A
to see
mini one.
if I could do that, and be filmed. I have to check with Jessica because we do have
Okay,
different levels of belief coding.
gotcha.
And like I said, I spent so much time working on myself that I
Mhm.
haven't evolved with the program because there is belief coding for groups, which
Oh,
I would
okay.
which I would love to do. Um, I haven't gone through that training yet, but I would love to come back and I'd love to give you a session. I would just love to give you a session. And if your husband is open, that's the one.
Well, I have some people in mind that I'm going to be sending to you for
Oh,
sure.
well, thank
And
you.
they can use your help and things like that. But yeah, I mean, I was tickled to have you on the show. And finally, I'm glad I finally met you. Maybe we can meet in person sometime, do lunch or
I
something.
would love that. I would love that. I would love that.
And
You know,
I have people in the network that I'm going to hook you up to. So there
great.
there's going to be a lifelong relationship here.
I'm just thrilled. I'm just thrilled. I did a session because I was anxious and I just had some fear that, you know, um, you don't know what you're talking about. You know how you have that
Right.
imposter syndrome or whatever. And
Hmm.
so I did the session, and even though I was saying these words, I was like, "You know what you're talking about. You've done
Yeah.
this." Um, and so you use the opposite of fear. So for me, it's so they say that fear is excitement without the breath.
Yeah.
You just so I say, I am so excited to do this.
If you
I
change
am
your mind.
so excited to do this. And that's what we do. You have a negative belief and you flip it in the client's own words.
Hmm.
So thank you so much for having me. I as anxious as I was about doing this, I'm just so grateful that I did. And you're just so easy to talk to. And you just make me feel so comfortable. So I really thank you.
Well, I'm glad. And like I said, this show is just I don't edit anything, so it's just natural. That's what I like candid shots with I don't like posing for pictures. I like candid. I just like showing the real out of the
Well,
people. And
okay.
and you're very good. You're very easy to interview, and I can't wait to have you back on the show. But again, like I said, I can't wait to meet you in person sometime. So,
Oh,
but
definitely. We'll
we'll
set it up.
we'll
We'll set it up.
we're definitely going to be networking and stuff. I'll hook you up big time.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
And yeah, so be sure to everybody look her up, look Dee up online or on
My
Facebook.
name isn't up here, so they can't see my name, but um,
I'll be putting it up for you.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. All
All
right.
right.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much.